Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, and iTunes #1 kids and family podcast, and a nominee for the iHeartRadio Best Kids and Family podcast. We're so excited that you are part of our Reading with Your Kids family. We have a wonderful show for you today, a perfect show for your family. Berger is here. He has written a great book called Unplug and Play. Some great suggestions of how we can unplug from the screen and plug into each other, play with each other, growing closer together with each other. You know, for a while now, I've been telling you about Little Passports. And a couple of episodes ago, I told you the folks at Little Passports sent me my own World Explorer Little Passports kit. And it's really cool. The main kit comes with a suitcase and a passport for your kids. And mine came with the Egyptian dig kit. Now, this is really cool because in this month's subscription, kids are introduced to Egypt, and it comes with this really great interactive toy. Talk about a way to unplug from the screens and plug into each other and do something together. The Egyptian dig kit, it comes with a pyramid and some really safe tools that you can dig into the pyramid. And inside the pyramid, there is an ancient Egyptian artifact that the kids can discover for themselves. I mean, it's a great way to be with our kids, to spend time with our kids, a great way to spark curiosity in your kid's mind. And that's why we're so happy that Little Passports is a sponsor of the podcast. I mean, Little Passports, it is the perfect holiday gift for curious kids of all ages. Little Passports delivers fun-filled packages right to their door every single month with engaging, hands-on, interactive projects and activities and unique souvenirs just waiting to be discovered. Little Passport's monthly subscriptions are designed to spark kids' curiosity about geography, world cultures, or science. From exploring sea creatures in Costa Rica to building a Big Ben like the one in England or making an ancient Greek headpiece, every month is a different adventure that will fuel their imagination and spark their natural curiosity of the world around them. It's the perfect gift for kids ages 3 to 13 this holiday season. Order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. littlepassports.com/reading. Joining us on the line right now from beautiful Roslyn in Long Island, New York. He is the author of a really great game that I think families should really check out. It's called Unplug and Play. Please welcome to the show, Berger. Brad, how are you?
Hi, Jed. Thanks for having me.
Super to have you on. Now, when we're talking about Unplug and Play, we're not talking about the latest MTV Unplugged episode, right?
That's correct. No. I don't think I've ever seen that, but no, that's not it.
I was going to say, probably the young listeners out there probably never heard of that, and obviously you haven't either, so
No.
that just dates myself.
Yeah, no, not familiar, but no, this is about Unplug and Play, a book I wrote about three years ago.
And so give us an idea of what it's all about.
So really what this is about is bringing people together to unplug from technology for a little while. And I think we all could use that. I know that when I was raising my kids out on Long Island, the big challenge was to get them to look up from their phones and engage for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But now it really is apparent that that's I'm even guilty of it, and so that has seeped into every generation these days. So I feel like it's important to really get people in a group environment engaged, and this is I've got a whole bunch of ways to do that in this book.
Cool. So this is kind of going back to our roots as human beings. You know, we started off engaging each other in stories and in play, and we didn't need the technology and the gizmos. What do you see as the biggest challenge to families around technology and kids being glued into technology so much?
Yeah, it's just really, I'll tell you, I learn so much more about my kids, not just with my kids, but my coworkers. I'm a business publisher. We go out to dinner, all the time and connect, and I just learn so much more about everyone when all the phones are down and there aren't distractions. That's the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's so difficult these days. You go out to dinner, you see, if you just look around the restaurant, you see half of the restaurant are on their phones. There are always so many distractions. So that's a challenge for everyone now. And of course, it's so, the first 18 years of your life is extremely important, and as you're developing, and so it's a challenge, but it certainly can be accomplished. And I didn't write this book because of that challenge. I just happened to be a gamer my whole life. I've always something I've always been doing. It's just that when I was writing this book, and I had so many people in my focus group, hundreds, over the 2.5 years I took to create it, I realized nobody was on their phones while we were playing them. Mm-hmm. And it was just so refreshing. So, yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, and beyond just engaging in conversation and helping kids learn how to engage others in conversation, which is so very, very important. I'm guessing that gameplay is a great way to help kids understand about taking turns and playing fairly.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and I mean, a lot of these games, I mean, this is cliche, of course, but it is about the experience. I like to emphasize that it's the winning and losing is secondary to the experiences, the memories you create with these games. These are all social games, and of course, there are rules, there are winners, but we typically, I mean, I play every night on during the holidays with my family. There's about 20 of us. We get together, and I don't think we remember who wins these games. We remember the moments that we create and the discovery, the things we discover about people we thought, we think we know pretty well. Mm-hmm. Mom and dad,
Yeah.
And so that's something I emphasize with my family. We have people of all different, competitive natures, but we all realize what these games are for, and it makes the experience so much better.
It's interesting that you were talking about kids and technology and kind of playing games to get us out of being locked into technology. The person in our family, my immediate family, who is the biggest gamer and the biggest one to right now as an adult be playing games and engaging games is my son, who's the person who is probably most locked into technology. Mm-hmm. It's like, that kind of like that polar opposite thing. But, that it's something that he really loves. And it's more than just, Chutes and Ladders and Monopoly. There's like this huge universe of games that I had no idea existed.
Yeah, I'd say the first half of my book, you're not going to necessarily buy in a board game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got your Monopoly and your chess and checkers, and these are, strategy games, and of course their conversation can ensue from them, but what I've kind of created here is a way for you to adapt the games to your own group, based on the personalities and interests of the group, whether you have kids in the group or adults or whatever the makeup is. And so it's kind of like carrying around a whole bunch of board games with you in one book, but they are you really adapt them, and it's all about you, your own group. You're not being dictated by a gaming company as to what categories you play. You're coming up with those. I'm just kind of giving you a guide.
Sure. So you've referred a number of times to social games. So what's different about a social game? And why don't you just explain what you mean by that term, social games?
So the book is broken out into several chapters, and so let's just take one chapter, which is all about discovery. So these games are all designed to get you to learn more about the past, the present, the future of the people in your group. Now, you could play with a bunch of strangers and you'll learn a ton. But even with the people that you know well, you're going to come out of the half hour, 3 hours, however long you engage in these games, really with some fun facts. So you've got games like that. You've got games that get your creative juices flowing, and the whole point is to make people laugh, and some can do that better than others, but either way, you have a really fun experience that way. There are performance games that bring out the interactor in you, and those are always fun. I've got games of mind reading, a whole chapter, which is about predicting what people in your group are going to say and trying to match their answers with yours. So that's what I mean by social. They bring up topical conversations. You learn a lot about each other, and you have fun doing it. And I also have strategy games and games that test your ability to think quickly. It's games that test your memory. So there's a lot of that as well. But while you're doing it, you are organizing them again according to the interests of your group.
Cool. Now, my son is getting married in January, and they had the bridal shower yesterday. And when I was growing up, bridal showers were supposed to be just for women, but nowadays I guess everybody's invited. So I was there, and at towards the end of the shower, they played this little game where my son and his fiance, he took one of her shoes and she took one of his, and there was they sat back to back, and the host of the event were asking you these questions like, who wears the pants in the family, and the bride and my son and his fiance would raise whatever shoe, like if she wore the pants in the family, he would raise her shoe, and vice versa. And it was a fun, really kind of fun event. Is these the kind the kind of thing you're talking about?
That's exactly it. I played that as well at a wedding last year, and it's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what you take from it. In that kind of thing, I don't think there are any winners or losers there. It's just a fun activity at a wedding, and yeah, it's exactly what I'm talking about here.
Well, this is great. I mean, we had a lot of fun. I was personally very surprised that when they asked which family is the craziest, that our family didn't get that nod. So that kind of scares me. Can you give us an example of one of the games that you have in the book? Brad will be back to share one of the games in his book, Unplug, and play in just a moment. But before he comes back, I just want to remind you what a great idea it is to check out littlepassports.com/reading, because Little Passports is the perfect holiday gift for curious kids of all ages. Little Passports delivers fun-filled packages right to their door every month with engaging hands-on activities, interactive projects, and unique souvenirs just waiting to be discovered. Little Passports monthly subscriptions are designed to spark kids' curiosity about geography, world cultures, or science. From exploring sea creatures in Costa Rica to building a Big Ben like the one in England or making an ancient Greek headpiece, every month is a different adventure that will fuel their imagination and spark their natural curiosity of the world around them. It's the perfect gift for kids ages 3 to 13 this holiday season. Order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. Which family is the craziest? That our family didn't get that nod, so that kind of scares me. Can you give us an example of one of the games that you have in the book?
So the first game in my book is called Popular. It's very simple. I have about 200 category suggestions, but you can create your own categories. So, if I said to a group of 5 people sitting around a dinner table, and by the way, with these games, all you need are paper and pens, nothing else. Some of the games you don't need anything. But if you've got paper and pens, you put your phones down. Everybody write down the most popular Olympic sports you can think of, 5 of them. And what you're trying to do here is you're not trying to come up with the 5 Olympic sports that you like. It's what you think everybody else is going to say. And you have to kind of know your group and think, what does everybody think? Do you have a pulse on popular opinion here? And you score based on how well you match with everybody. So 4 of you say gymnastics out of the 5. You 4 get 4 points, and the 5th person who wasn't fortunate to come up with gymnastics, he's out of luck. And so it's a very simple game, and you score based on how well, again, you match with the rest of the group, and you can play with so many different categories. I give you some samples, and then you just take it from there.
So you could really kind of tailor it to fit your community, and I imagine it would be a great way to build for a business to kind of build teamwork, or a sports team or whatever, or a classroom to kind of help them come together and work more cooperatively with each other ultimately.
Oh, absolutely. I know teachers that use these games in their classrooms. I use them with my own staff, and I've been asked to come to do some team building exercises with companies. So I'll see if I can get some time to do that, but I know that it can be very effective.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it is? Because I had experience. You and I were talking about me doing educational magic shows. One of the things I've run into not so much anymore, but especially early on in my career, I would run into some teachers, educators who would kind of denigrate any kind of learning experience that was fun, thinking that this can't be serious learning if there's fun involved. Can you speak to the whole, the benefits of using play and fun in the learning process?
Yeah, I don't know how qualified I am to speak to that. I just know that you see the engagement of the kids. It's so apparent. It's that when you can turn a lesson into a game, and it just tests their ability to learn the material. It just makes the experience of learning the material a little more fun for them, and they tend to remember a lot more from the lesson. So I don't know qualified to speak to how well this works, but I do know I've seen it work.
Yeah, well, I one of the memories that I have of middle school was we had a fantastic teacher who was passionate about history, and he wanted to talk to us about World War II, and more than just these guys were fighting these guys, but really kind of get into the politics of it and help these 12, 13, 14-year-old kids understand what was going on. And the way he did it was to create a game and we pulled out this big, huge world map, and people were playing different countries, and decisions were being made, and it really helped us get into the subject matter more than just learning dates and statistics.
Yeah, and I have this game, couples concentration, where it's your basic game of concentration if you've ever played that card game.
Sure.
And you have a grid, and you're asking the designer of the puzzle for A4, and he says what's in box A4, and then you say let me match it up with G5, and then he says what's in G5, and you're trying to figure out you could have any kind of couples in this grid. You could have salt and pepper, you could have ketchup and mustard. But if you're in a geography lesson or a history lesson, you can have those kinds of couples for the lesson, and it just it gets people to learn the material a lot more easily.
Yeah. Now, Unplug and Play came out a number of years ago. Our friends over at Familius published it, and you just haven't been sitting on your laurels since then. You've been hard at work creating a new book.
Yes, I when they asked me if I was going to do another one 3.5 years ago, I thought they were crazy. I just created all these games for that. How was I going to create a whole bunch of new ones? And sure enough, I realized that this is something I love to do. And when I go out on a road trip, even if it's just for 45 minutes. I come up with an experience. I think about my family, my friends that play all these games, and I think about the experience I want them to have, and then I create the concept. I come back home, I jot down some notes, I go test it out, and all of a sudden I've got a new game, or I don't. Either way, though, I've for the last 4 years created a whole bunch of new games. So yeah, this new book launching in April has 101. A combination of the first book and a lot of new ones. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to be excited about, and we want you to come back to tell us about that new book. But in the meantime, folks can pick up Unplug and Play at the Familius website, of course, and at all the usual outlets. Is there a website where folks can connect with you and learn a little bit more about what's going on?
We are revamping our website right now, so I'll probably have to give that to you on the next time we speak. But for now, you can get everything you need at Familius, and then as you said, we're on Amazon and the other outlets too.
Excellent. Well, the name of the book is Unplug and Play. It's written by Brad Berger, and Brad's been our guest tonight. Brad, thanks so much for being here.
Jed, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are going to be celebrating the start of Hanukkah with our guest, Pamela Ehrenberg. Pamela Ehrenberg will be here. We want you to be here with us as we celebrate the festival of lights that is Hanukkah. Hey, if you are the author of a wonderful children's book, we would love to have you on the show so we can introduce you to our thousands and thousands of listeners, and you will get a chance to tell them all about your great book. Being a guest on the podcast, it's fun, it's easy, and it is absolutely free. It's a wonderful way to celebrate your wonderful book. All you need to do is go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, click on the contact button, let us know about your great book. We'll let you know the next step. And like I said, it's really, really easy. Hey, you know what else is easy? Finding the perfect holiday gift for the curious kid on your list. You just need to go to littlepassports.com/reading. Little Passports is the perfect holiday gift for that curious kid on your list. With a subscription to Little Passports, kids get a fun-filled package every month designed to inspire their curiosity in geography, world cultures, or science. For kids of all ages, order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. littlepassports.com/reading. Hey, we want to thank Brad Berger for being here today. We want to thank Little Passports for supporting us. And of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place by taking the time to unplug, to play with your kids, and to read with your kids. I'll be looking for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.